What is the mom Kaori? Did he fake killing him? He faked killing him. And had that dude report it to the others so they would leave him alone? Maybe? Hi everyone, my name is Mimi and welcome to my channel. And today I'm going to be reacting to Jujutsu Kaisen Season 3 Episode 2 titled One More Time. Last episode, yeah, Yuta showed up and him and Yuji were fighting and he stabbed Yuji in the end there in the heart and was saying sorry to him. And I'm like, Yuji's not going anywhere. Okay. So he's not gonna die from that. We also met Naoya. Ugh. He's currently the new leader of the Zenin clan, and he was told, along with his uncles, that Megumi was gonna become the leader of the clan in case Gojo is no more, I guess, and he's currently no more. So Naoya is like going after Megumi, trying to kill him and retain his role, I guess, as the leader of the clan. And yeah, we were left with him facing Shoko, Choso. Oh my goodness, Choso. Naoya was left facing Choso, and then Yuta and Yuji were doing that thing over there. So that's where we ended last episode. And before we get into this one, if you guys like my reaction, please give it a thumbs up, please subscribe, and please consider supporting me on Patreon at patreon.com/feelingmini. And now let's start this episode. And here we go.
Okay guys, in case the reaction gets blocked and I had to cut out the reaction itself, you can just look in the pinned comment in the comment section where for the link to the reaction highlight itself, so you can just click on it, watch it, and then you just come back for my review.
The calling game part 1. Oh, so there's gonna be a part 2. Makes sense. How many parts are there gonna be to the calling game? I love seeing Megumi there in the back, just like, sure, I'll go along with you, but I don't want to. There are way too many things going on in the intro, so I'm like, let me not try to figure it out. I feel like way too many characters for me to figure out. Then you have Geto there smiling or laughing, whatever. Not Geto, but you know, the fake. Is that the person that had Nobara in that he not healed but did some kind of first aid on Nobara, and they're like, he's like, she may live, she may not. He was the person standing behind the person in the wheelchair, right? I think his name was Nita. He dies, you die. Is he in the domain? Did he activate his domain? Well, I mean, with the yellow greenish tint that's all over the thing. Okay. Then what is gonna be usable? Nothing's gonna be usable? Or do I keep assuming that people have activating their domain? Oh, what is that gonna do? Disappeared? Okay, he's so fast. But he's oh, he did see him, but he still wasn't fast enough. Okay. Did he use a weapon? Okay. Oh, so that's what that technique was.
今のお前があるのかもしれんぞ。
Mm-hmm.
出来が良かろうと悪かろうと兄は弟の手本なんだ。俺が道を誤ったのなら弟はその道を避ければいい。
That is true.
なぜ俺がしぶといのか聞いたな。教えてやる。俺には手本がない。歩き続けなければならん。だから俺は強いんだ。
Oh. I mean, I think he said at one point that he had an unlimited amount of blood during his fight against whoever. Oh, okay. Well, is he using some kind of after image thingy like the previous figure that died? You know how he had those frames? Oh, is it? Somehow I don't think so. Yeah, I see. Ahead of time. Supernova? Rock. Don't lose curse energy. Because I believe they just said that. What is it? No, don't heal him.
虎杖君の死はあなたの口からも上に報告してください。何ですか、父さん。彼女の話をするなら帰りますよ。
Daddy?
ジン、だが、あの女だけはやめとけ。死ぬぞ。
Who's that woman?
たことも知ってる。
Kaori?
だが、香りが死んだ。
お父さん、何の話ですか？
Oh, so it's the mom that has the stitches on the forehead. Or is the mom Kaori? Did he fake killing him? He faked killing him. And had that dude report it to the others so they would leave him alone? Maybe? I knew you were evil. Not that I knew you too, but it was a plan.
ジョー先生がわざわざ会いに来てね。君のことを頼まれたんだ。僕に何かあったら、今の1、2年のことをユータに頼みたくて。はかりはまあ大丈夫っしょ。
Oh! Oh! I remember some kind of thing like that.
特に1年の虎杖裕二。あの子はユータと同じで、一度一口刑が決まった身だ。ミゲルは先生には会いたくないそうです。っていう縛りを結んだんだ。だから一度殺した。
じゃあなんで俺は生きてんだ。
反転術式。
Okay.
君の死を偽装するのはこれで2度目だ。すぐバレるかもしれないけど、状況が状況だしね。
どうしてそこまでして。
僕が大切にしている人たちが君を大切にしているからだよ。
No.
君とは違う。君の背負った力は君の力じゃない。君は悪くない。
I feel like he needs to hear that. Oh.
俺は人を。
虎杖。
So that was him walking away.
直接顔を見られない限り、お前が戻っても問題ねえ。一度先輩らと合流してね。
やめろ。人を殺した。 俺のせいで大勢死んだんだぞ。
俺たちのせいだ。俺たちはヒーローじゃない。呪術師だ。俺たちを本当の意味で裁ける人間はいない。
違うんだ、伏黒。
もう俺たちに自分のことを考えてる暇はねえんだ。
それじゃ
そもそもお前の行動原理だったはずだ。
ずっと苦しむことになるんだぞ。
まずは俺を助けろ、虎杖。呪術を与えられた者たちの殺し合い、死滅回遊。死滅回遊に積み木も巻き込まれてる。
Oh, her sister.
お前の力が必要だ。
Also, he was the one. So that was the sister in the. Okay. Okay. Obtaining the quest technique, players must go to a colony of their choice within 19. That's I cannot read that. Okay, this is gonna be after I'm watched after this the episode is done because right now I cannot not it went by way too fast, so there's no way I can read all that.
おこつ先輩、スクナが伏黒で何か企んでる。俺の中に今指は15本。次、俺がスクナと変わったら
Kill him.
殺してくれ。分かった。ベストを尽くすよ。
まず高専に戻って天元様と接触する。
Are we gonna see Tengen?
獄門教の封印の解き方、カモノリトシの具体的な目的と。
We need to ask that.
つくもさんは知らねえかな。
つくもさんとはもう話した。これはあの人の案だ。
シャッフルが繰り返される1000以上の扉のうち、一つだけが天元様のいる構成宮へとつながっている。
Are you gonna pick the right door?
伏黒、やっぱ今聞くわ。食い先はどうなった。
She didn't make it.
そうか。その隠す結界とやらなんとかなるかもしれない。
Oh,
どういうことだ、長宗。
go put Shikuro's face.
スクナの指と俺たちを盗み出しただろう。
Oh, are the death paintings or whatever?
マキ先輩。ああ、どうも。マキさん、もう動いていいの？
術式でもあとは残る。でもさすがは天与呪縛のフィジカルギフテッド。
Wait, so that was Maki?
めぐみ、天元様の結界の話は？
それは
俺から話そう。の弟たち、ノーランソー、ショウソー、
Anso, Sanso, Gosuso, and Choso.
これはいいとして、こいつは誰だ？
My older brother.
俺の兄貴ってことで。行こう。
Did you want a hug? Or was he just
弟たちが眠っている。
happy
蹴るぞ。
that he accepted him as the older brother? What the heck?
長宗、
Is that where the brothers are?
分かってる。結婚？何かあったのかな？
Wait, did they kill? Okay. I'm about to did they kill Tengen?
全ての歪みはあの時始まったの。
Distortions? 12 years ago? Wait, what if is the woman with the stitches on her forehead?
これが本殿。
いや、私たちを拒絶している。拒絶されているのは私たちではなく、私か。
Why? What did you do? What's happening?
帰るのか。全員の子道真の血樹体クソーズ、そしてスクナの器。
That's Tengen? This outro makes me feel sad. I don't like it. Nah. The calling game general rules. 1. After awakening their cursed technique, players must go to a colony of their choice within 19 days and pledge their participation in the culling game. Players breaching the first rule shall be stripped of their technique. Okay, if she is stripped of her technique, does she go back to sleep? Non-players shall become players upon entering a colony, and their entry shall be taken as pledging to participate in the culling game. Must go to a colony of their choice. Does that mean that there's one particular colony, or there are many colonies and you just go to one that you choose, that you pick one and then you go there? Non-players shall become players. What did they mean by non-players? Like non-players, like those who have a part of the people that he's given a curse technique to, but that don't want to play or whatever. Should they walk into a colony that they didn't know was a colony, then they're gonna automatically become a player? Players will receive points upon ending the life of another player. Points shall be designated based on the value that the game master gives their life. The game master, does that mean Noritoshi? And fundamentally, a sorcerer will be worth 5 points, while non-sorcerers will be worth 1 point. By spending 100 points, not counting the initial point value assigned to them, players may negotiate with the game master to add an additional role to the culling game. The game master must approve any additional roles requested under Rule 6, except when the role would significantly hinder the continuation of the culling game. Players who do not show a change in points within 19 days of joining or acquiring points will be stripped of their technique. So you have many people, right, that he's given these curse techniques to over the years. He's awakened them. Meaning Tsumiki as well, right? She's the one that was in the wheelchair with Nita standing behind her, right? Okay, so he's saying after 19 days of being awakened, you are supposed to go to a colony. Within those colonies, you have to fight to the death. If you kill a sorcerer, you get 5 points. If you kill a non-sorcerer, you get 1 point. And then they said that the value of a life depends on how much he decides to give or something or other. Okay. After 100, you've collected 100 points. Then you can go to him and ask for a rule to be added. Should the rule not impede the culling game, he will give it. Yeah, or he must approve. The game master must approve. I'm assuming the game master is Noritoshi and not anybody else, unless he's appointed someone to be the game master. I'm assuming it's him. The game master must approve any additional rules requested. And then anyone who doesn't show any change with their points within 19 days, the technique will be stripped from them. Now, it's the stripping of the technique part that's my problem. Does that mean that if he strips you of your technique, does that mean that you go back to sleep? Or not? Or does that just mean that you're gonna die? What does that mean, the stripping of the technique? If they just said clearly that you're gonna die, I'm like, okay, it makes sense. But they just say strip of the technique. Now, Tsumiki, I'm trying to remember it. I know there was some kind of curse on a what's it called? Bridge. There was this cursed spirit on the bridge that was cursing people, and then I think she was one of the people that got cursed by that spirit. And Oh, but then with that curse spirit having been exercised, that curse should not work on her anymore. But then she was still asleep. So I'm guessing the fact that she was still asleep was because of the whatever Noritoshi did to her. That's why she was still asleep. And now she's awake, sitting in a chair, a wheelchair. And since this dude is now saying, I'm going to strip you of your technique, that means she's going to go back to sleep, I'm assuming. But with the person that Sumiki or Sumiko is, um, she's not the kind of person that would go and kill people. So clearly her number of points are not gonna diminished. Are not gonna like change. She's gonna keep her whatever points was assigned to her, she's gonna keep that. But then the fact that she's a part of the game, she can get killed by the other cursed not cursed curse technique person, I guess, that are participating in this calling game. So she's still in danger of being killed. And she's also in danger, I'm guessing, of going back into a coma should her technique be stripped. Right? Am I understanding this correctly? So, because of the fact that Tsumiki is part of this game, Fushiguro wants you just help with saving his sister. Now, last episode, I'm like, no, you're just not gonna die. But he died for a second, and then Yuta used his reverse curse technique. Not many people can do that, so I'm guessing not a lot of people know that he can do that. But then again, the fact that he shouldn't have killed that dude. Okay, whatever. The fact that he healed Naoya, that's gonna, if people didn't know that he could use reverse technique, it means that they're not gonna know. And the people that were suspicious of him in the first place when he wanted to be Yuji's executioner, now the suspicion is probably going to increase with the fact that he can use reverse technique. He didn't kill him. Gojo went to him in the first place and asked him for his help when it came to Yuji. There was, I'm trying to remember if it was during an actual episode or if it was during the movie. It's been a long time since I've seen the movie where they introduced Yuta. I remember there was a scene, some kind of after credit scene where Gojo was speaking, and I'm like, I think I was asking myself, who was he speaking to, or something or other. I may be wrong or remembering things not rightly, but it just felt like there was some kind of scene like that, and I didn't know that Yuta was in that scene, or did they actually show him and I just forgot? I don't know, but I feel like there was some kind of scene like that, and it was during that flashback that they revealed to us that Gojo went to him and asked for Yuta's help in order to protect Yuji. Told him of Yuji's circumstances, how he was also up for execution, and just like how Yuta was up for execution, and Gojo stepped in there, and it's because of Gojo feeling sort of like a little iffy, he wanted some kind of assurance, and that's why he went to Yuji. And now Yuji went to the elders, whoever they are that are controlling Jujutsu High, and asked to be Yuji's executioner. And he used the excuse of the fact that Inumaki lost his arm to basically be the reason why he is so against Yuji and wanting to personally kill him. Now that I'm thinking about it, the fact that he can use reverse technique, can he use it to heal Inumaki's on? I feel like he can, right? So that's why he used all of that and then got himself to be the executioner. And then they said they made a pact because they didn't fully trust him. They made a pact that he had to kill Yuji, and you can't break those kind of pacts. So he did have to kill him, and he did. But then he immediately used his curse technique to revive him. When he killed him at first, and then they showed Sukuna. Them like, yeah, see, Sukuna's there. He's not gonna let him die. That's what I was thinking, but he didn't have to do anything at all because Yuji is the one that brought him, that healed him. And before he healed him, he took it. Bruh, the fight between Choso and Naoya. Naoya was all, when they went straight into their fight. And like I said, I just saw this sort of like orangey glow around them, and it just felt like Choso was just taking all the punches. He couldn't do anything. And you know how in domain expansions, any attack that the caster or whatever does is gonna land on you. I was assuming that this guy used a domain expansion of some kind, and that's why um Choso was just there taking those punches. But no, he didn't use any kind of reverse technique. He was just that fast, and Choso wasn't able to do anything against him until he used a red scale, something or other, and it was technique that was sort of like focus his eyes and help focus his eyes, I guess, so that he can keep up with Naoya a little bit better. And then he did that, and Naoya was forced to use a weapon that he carries with him. And Naoya was saying something along the lines that his brothers looked down on Toji because he didn't have any cross technique. He was using weapons and all of that. But even them, they carry weapon with them. So how do they have the right to basically look down on Toji and all of that? And if even him, he was also carrying a weapon, and he doesn't want people to know or something or other like that and look down on him or something. I don't know, whatever. And then he kept saying that he hated his brothers and um his older brothers. And Choso is like, whether you hate them or not, they paved the way for you to be how you are. Like, if your older siblings are taking the wrong path and you see that, then you're gonna take the right path. And if they were taking the right path, then you're gonna follow the path that they've taken, So either way, your older brothers have defined who you are, you know, what path you've taken. And so he should not be looking down on them or something or other like that. And he just like, after Naoya stabbed Choso, and he's like, okay, let's see how you're gonna fight. Why you have to stunt your blood or whatever, and then focus on me and everything. And just like Choso just released all this amount of blood that was just flowing throughout the tunnel and everything, out going after Naoya. And I remembered having, did I, was it during the episode or someone explaining it in a YouTube video? I don't know. But they said something along the lines of that, of Choso having unlimited amount of blood. I just didn't remember the curse energy part of it. Like, as long as he has curse energy, he can create any amount of blood that he wants. So that's why there were all this whole flood of blood that was like going after Naoya and covering him, and he hardened his blood so that Naoya couldn't move as fast as he was. And apparently his technique is that he can go 20 something ahead of time and trace those steps, which is sort of like similar to the previous leader that died of their clan. He also had some kind of followed frames that you have to follow. He has to follow in order to whatever. It's sort of like similar to that. But his was, it was to the future a little bit. It was to the future. But even with that, he was no match for Choso. He was gonna die, and then Yuta showed up there with Yuji, and the way he just showed up there and did like ping to Choso, Choso just he hurled him into the wall. I'm like, whoop, and got in front of Naoya, and he's like, okay, I can heal you, and you can go and tell everyone that I've killed Yuji. And he did that so that the upper management would think that Yuji is dead. And then he brought Yuji back down to where they were, and then they talked. And then he told them what he did, and that's where Fushiguro showed up and was asking for Yuji's help. Before Yuji woke up, he had some kind of memory where his grandfather was talking to clearly his father, and then the mother was on the side. And then I remembered when Joso was the one that was telling Yuji during the previous episode that his father must have some kind of stitches on his forehead. His father didn't. It was his mother that did that. And I don't remember what to say. I'm clearly gonna have to go back to this episode again. Um During the flashback, the grandfather was saying something along the lines of Yuji's father couldn't be with the mother. What was her name again? uh, Kaori. The father's name is Kaori, and the mother's name, no, the father's name is Chin, and the mother's name is Kaori. And then the grandfather was telling the father that I know you've wanted a child, but then saying something about the mother. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that again. So Fushiguro asked for his help, and Yuji accepted. And before he went with Fushiguro, he told um, Yuta that Sukuna wants something with Fushiguro, and that should he lose himself again and have Sukuna take over, he was asking Yuta to kill him with no hesitation. And Yuta's like, okay, I'll try. Question is Yuta stronger than Sukuna? We know Gojo was. He clearly said it. And we know, I'm trying to remember. Did Gojo say that Yuta was stronger than him or on par with him? I don't know. But if Yuta is stronger than Gojo, then he should be able to take Sukuna as well, right? But either way, he said he would try. And then their plan is to go meet Tengen and ask him these questions, like why is Noritoshi Kamo doing this? How can they get Gojo out of the prison realm? And how can they stop the calling game, I'm guessing, so that they can save the sister. And they go there to their meeting place. And I see, first off, well, when Yuji, was it Yuji or was it Fushiguro that went to Maki, was calling Maki Senpai or something or other like that. I heard the name, but it didn't register then and there that this is Maki. I was thinking it was the sister. What was her name again? Maki's sister. I don't know. That's my mind was still on her. I think it was because of her haircut. Because Maki had a longer hair. She had her hair in a ponytail during the first two seasons. So seeing her hair short like that, just like the sister, I think that's where my confusion came into play. It was like only until later as they were talking, then I'm like, wait, so this is our Maki? That's where it registered that way. This is Maki. She changed so much. That's why I didn't recognize her. And that's why, when I see the intro and I see her walking, and I'm like, wait, why does that person look like Maki's sister, but different? I believe I said that when I first saw the first episode. I said she looked different because she looked tougher than the Maki's sister that I usually know. And because she had her hair short like that, I didn't think it was Maki, you know. But it makes sense now why she looked so tough when I saw her in the intro because our Maki is tough, okay? She's tough. And it's the shorter hair thing that messed me up. So their plan is to go meet Tengen and ask her these questions. But then it's like, okay, how are we supposed to know? Because she's under, there's like 1,000 doors and then she's just under one of them, or like behind one of them. So how are they supposed to choose the one? And then that's where Choso came in, and it's like, when they first let the Jujutsu sorcerers gather all these Sukuna fingers so that they can. Was it Sukuna finger? No, it was just one Sukuna finger that they gathered, and then they put into the vault, I guess, with all the other Sukuna fingers. Um, Choso also has his brothers there, right? So he's like, I can just follow the connection that we have between us brothers and lead you all to the right door. And they went there. Just saw the brother where the door where his brothers were, but you just like it just so we need to go. So he can't really do anything for his brothers right now. So he followed them, and when they went, was it did they open the door? Or was it before they opened the door? There was all this blood on the floor, and he's like, where did this blood come from? In my mind, I'm like, wait, did they kill Tengen? But I'm like, if they kill Tengen, all those cursed, like those techniques that he or she has, will like vanish, too. So nah, it wasn't that. And then she was saying something about something having happened 12 years ago, and I'm like, okay, what happened 12 years ago? I don't know. And then they go in there, it was all white. And then she's like, okay, he's rejecting me or rejecting us. And I'm like, she said, first she said he was rejecting them. And I'm like, and then she said he was rejecting me. I'm like, okay, what did you do that he's rejecting you? Like, what's the deal between Tengen and her? Clearly, it seems that they don't like each other. So what happened? And so they were like, you know what, let's just go since we're not gonna be able to meet Tengen. And they were about to leave, and then Tengen shows up and it's like, are you a descendant of the camel something or other? You vessel of Sukuna, you something or other. Like he wasn't called he wasn't calling them by name. He was basically, I'm not gonna say titled, but well, let's just say he wasn't calling them by name, but by who they were or who they represented. I don't know. You just like, so you're just gonna leave like that? Let's talk. And that's why the episode ended. So yeah. I'm interested in knowing more about Yuji's parents and the mother. So the descendant, like the fact that Yuji called Choso his older brother when they were like, okay, I understand the plan, but who is he? And Yuji's like, you can say he's my older brother, and he was so excited. Choso was like, Yuji! Oh no, it was funny. Because in the first episode, when he was telling Yuji that he was his older brother, Yuji was like, you still going on with that? Like, aren't you tired of saying that or something or other like that? And then this episode, the fact that he acknowledged him as his older brother, he was like excited. Oh yeah. Thank you guys for watching. And if you like this reaction, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you want to see my reaction to episode 3, the link is gonna be in the pinned comment, so you can just click on it and you can watch it right now. And you can also catch up with all my previous Jujutsu Kaisen reactions. There's a playlist in the comment as well. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye. Once more, come on, you people, do machale, do machale, do machale, do machale, do machale, do machale, do.